Wales against England at Cardiff. The Welsh selectors had announced their side, some said with indecent haste, following their heavy defeat by France a month ago. There was one change, Arthur Emyr on the left wing for Carwyn Davies, but there had been some encouraging signs in Paris. The line-out play of Bob Norster and a solid scrummage in which Mike Griffiths had played a major part. After their convincing win over France, the England selectors had decided to leave well alone. Against the French, the jumping of locks Ackford and Dooley had been crucial to England's almost total forward dominance. But there was a need for an improvement in the goal-kicking. Commentators at the National Stadium, Bill Beaumont and Nigel Starmer-Smith.
The National Stadium, Cardiff Arms Park, a day when the pages of history roll back, never more so than today, as Wales face the prospect of a first ever whitewash in the 5 Nations Championship history. England look for at least a share of the championship on the ground where they haven't won since the 19th of January 1963. Terry Fitzgerald of Australia, his 16th international, the man who had charge of the first ever World Cup final, and in tremendous form after that brilliant display Ireland-Scotland 2 weeks ago. England immediately in the fray. Taken by Teague, kicked through by Dowie Morris, who's pushed to one side by Jones. The ball in touch on the halfway.
You see already there's an in to Mike Teague, the England flanker there, and I think he got caught with going up for the kick-off there, and I think it was the Mark Jones, the Neath number 8, who caught him in the tackle there.
And the Gloucester lad tragically taken away for attention. Let's hope it's not for the rest of the game. And down on the touchline is Gary Rees to come on as a very worthy replacement. England with a lot of strength and depth on the flank. Cruel for Mike Teague, but Gary Rees, the 28-year-old, to win his 18th cap will be no mean replacement. Rory Morris, 5th international, first time in the cauldron here. Jonathan Webb, nice inside run. Dean Richards, Robinson, Rees on his elbow, drive to the 22. Dowie Morris didn't take it cleanly, but Wales are interfering with it and have conceded a penalty 25 metres out.
Normally Webb would have kicked it, but he looks for Dean Richards inside. And just look at the acres of space for Andy Robinson when he takes this ball. And it's Gary Rees there immediately straight into the action, and it shows the strength of this England side, and that's what they've been concentrating on all season.
So Rob Andrew prepares, and maybe it's some kind of omen that the only club represented in 1963 were the Wasps. Rob Andrew of the Wasps is also the fly half, as was Richard Sharp. 3 points. 6 minutes played, and Rob Andrew with the first points of the match. No nerves on that occasion, and straight into the groove. Gary Jones, 3 from the tail on Wales' throw, and that's Mark Jones doing well. A lot of height at the back there proving useful. Paul Turner through from David Evans Hall. Ryan Evans, Webb covers, gathers well, but enveloped by Hall and Evans. Round the wrong side it looks from Terry Fitzgerald. As Wales throwing this time. Norster, beautiful take and feed. Paul Turner attacking 3/4 here. Paul Turner on the break. In came Rees and Richards with the tackle. Penalty to Wales in front of the post. England this time go over.
Lovely take here by Bob Norton. Look how he gets in front of Wade Dooley, takes it two-handed. And a lot of confidence here from Paul Turner. It looks like he's going to go on the outside, but then sidesteps inside. Andy Robinson missed it, but why didn't he look outside? Because he had David Evans there and Arthur Emyr, and England certainly go over the top, and the referee quite right to penalise him.
Always that sideways on stance. 30 metres out, head on to the post. Crowd hush. You heard the roar. They're back on terms. 3 points all. Thorburn's 8th penalty goal of the season. Yes, well pleased with it, and an encouragement to his side. In the away, Morris to Andrew. Carling, the mismove in the centre. Webb in the line. Underwood with a chance here. The cover's good from Hall on the 22. It's England possession perhaps again. Thorburn with a foot, but an offside decision is given. This to give England the lead. It's gone right. Right of the post, that is. Drop out by Thorburn. Dooley and Eckford together, but Wales have possession. Slipped back by Delaney. Turner, how useful it is to be equally adept with both feet. About 8 metres inside Wales half. Dooley taps down. Chilcott round the back on the peel, makes a bit of headway over the gain line. Morris, Robinson standing off on the lateral pass. Still going, eludes the tackle of Robert Jones, sets it through to Dewi Morris. They're inside the Wales 22. In goes Dean Richards. That total commitment. Slipped up by Gary Rees. From Andrew to Carling. OT. Pass was too sharp. And Wales scramble it away, but they'll come back for the earlier knock-on.
But worrying from Wales' point of view, the way that Andy Robinson and Dewi Morris linked up there, the difference between when David Bryant did it for Wales, he was totally isolated, but when Robinson went on the short pass, there must have been at least 5 or 6 England players behind him.
Robert Jones. Side decision against England. Turner slicing it, and Webb missing it. Makes it a useful ball. Brian Anderson, the touch judge, signals it out just a couple of metres beyond England's 10-metre line. Norster again, direct to Robert Jones. Bit loose, but picked up on the half volley by Paul Turner. Wales there in good strength. Robert Jones, knock on just, and only just. So Wales have the put in. But goes not for the first time. Fitzgerald keeping tight rein. Wales looking to set something up on the narrow side, but England break off and interfere to concede a penalty. Well within kicking range for Thorburn now. One penalty attempt, one penalty goal for Wales. Now Thorburn can put his side ahead. That'll do well. 26 minutes played, and coolly played by Beneath and Wales fullback and captain Paul Thorburn, as he takes his tally for his country up to 197 points. More significantly, it's 6-3 to Wales. Determination, but just a little too much eagerness that time as they come round offside and concede a penalty and a chance for England to level it again through Rob Andrew. 1 out of 2 so far for Andrew. to make it 6-all if he gets it. That'll do. Just enough weight, and the Englishmen in the crowd vent their joy. It's 6-all, and the battle of the place kickers developing. Wade Dooley, the Blackpool Tower. Bob Norster. Good drafting work by Gareth Rees. That was Dean Richards' lob pass. Carling. Awkward one for Thorburn. And awkward in turn for the England cover of Halliday. Inside England's half. Through with the two Joneses. Gary first, then Mark to take it, but they've come through offside.
I think it's a knock-on by Gary Jones, and Mark Jones was very alert there and picked it up, and it was a little bit unlucky that the referee spotted that one, but he could well have got away with it.
The referee had his hand raised for a penalty. Joey Morris. Andrew. Thorburn waits. Oti charges in. He's outside his 22, so can't pull the mark. Bravely feeds on to Arthur Emir. Oh, good running. David Evans up towards the halfway, waits for the support. Don't think the referee saw the knock-on. He's playing advantage anyway for Webb on the counter-attack. Good acceleration, has men outside. Halliday up to Wales 22, dispossessed in the tackle. The cover coming in from Ian Evans. Gary Morris, Dean Richards drives on. See how well he makes it available. Rolls on the right side of the ball. Andrew Carling. Oti in from the left. Waits the tackle of the two Welsh centres. But it's Phil Davies links to Thorburn. Tackled by Andrew. Arthur Emir waits to receive. Untidy. Down goes Bryant. England pile in, but not over. They go forward though to win the scrummage.
Dangerous position here for Wales to defend, because they've got a lot of options here, because they've got the scrum half, they've got a wide blind side, and they've got Rory Underwood in the bottom of the picture here. And interesting that Paul Thorburn has moved out onto the blind side there to cover a back row move by England.
Wales reel it though, make it awkward. Rob Andrew, left-footed drop goal. Yes! It just tucked itself round the post between the junction of the crossbar and the upright, and smartly done off his left foot. So England recapture the lead. About 2 minutes of the half remaining, and really under real pressure there on that untidy scrummage hill. England did well.
They did well indeed, because England under a lot of pressure here, and it looks as though they were going to try a back row move, but the pressure of the Welsh forward put them under. But look how Robert Jones, he went going up for the ball, that he suddenly forgot that Andrew's so good at kicking off both left and right foot. Yes, he gives himself a wry smile there as the referee blows the whistle for half-time, with England leading 9 points to 6.
And with Rob Andrew then, 2 penalty goals and a drop goal that see England just shading it at the interval. Paul Thorburn with 2 fine penalties, and any kick that goes over in these conditions is a fine one. Very well matched up front, and Wales certainly belying their earlier form and mounting, as we might have expected, a proud performance. So the last 40 minutes of the 1989 5-Nations Championship, and still everything at stake, and only 3 points separate the sides. 9-6 England lead. Rory Underwood, the most capped player in the England side, is 7th time, and also becoming today England's most capped wing of all time, overtaking Mike Slemon. Paul Turner. And a testing ball. Underwood back there to feed Webb, but it's a difficult one for Webb, and Wales far through from Evans. Kicked on by Emir. And the try is given as Hall came through. Mike Hall adds to his try against Scotland. with one that came from a fatal England error, and Wales take the lead.
It's a good kick here by Paul Turner. I think the problem is for England that when Rory Underwood catches the ball, it looks as though Rees actually gets in between him and Jonathan Webb as the ball drifted out. But look at the support there, and Arthur Emir kicks it forward, and Michael touches down.
The conversion goes over for Thorburn. It's 12-9, and that's a real setback to England, and that will have given Wales the most enormous boost of confidence. And this was a really bad defensive error. The pass from Underwood was impossible really for Webb to take in these conditions. Emir was the man through to Hound, and there was Mike. Well, it wasn't the cleanest of touchdowns. At that time it was Dooley with the initial tap down. Alan Lan rings round the stadium. The punch-ups, I'm afraid, have broken out. It was simmering for a while, and this was the free-for-all that we feared most. And really, it's one in and all in, and again, Thorburn, quite rightly, leaps in to try and separate the warring factions, and still it spills over. All one's worst fears of what happened 2 years ago coming to the surface.
Well, for Friday, it looks very similar indeed to what 2 years ago, and the referee is going to take a very stern hand now, and there's no point talking to these forwards. What he's going to say, look, if there's any more argy-bargy, you've got to go, and that's what I think he's telling the two captains there.
Well, all credit to Paul Thorburn, because he came tearing up and said, for goodness sake, lads, cut this out, and the referee's saying the same thing, and they both know it. Richards with a touch, McNaughton also to pin it back. The pick up by Dooley. Joey Morris with the switch. Carling has to wait. Men outside, lots of them. Andrews dispatched, and it's Wales on the breakout. Back goes OT. Misjudges it. Through comes David Evans. Keeps it with the feet. And sends England scurrying back to their 22. There's the young Oxford University centre. Just his second international and making his mark again. And an English-born Welshman, this. Phil Davies setting it up just outside England's 22. It's Jones again to Turner. There's a testing Darioin again. Back goes Richards to support Webb. It's still loose in front of the post. Wales pile in. But it comes to Morris, to Andrew. Halliday, but Thorburn on the rebound. And that unrelenting fire and fury.
And again, it's a percentage game that Wales are playing, that England haven't been able to break out of the stranglehold. And really, that if any ball that England get now, that they must throw caution to the wind and try and throw it around a bit.
3-point lead for Wales. Beginning to tie England down. Problems at the base of the scrum, and possession up to Turner again. This has gone for a scrummage. Wales put in. It's England's 22. Jones really taken this game on himself in the second half, but that's too strong.
Well, Robert Jones would be disappointed with that kick, that it's really been his tactical kicking that has kept England on the defensive for most of the second half. He's taking it on himself to determine the tactics.
Taken on the full by Phil Davies. Phil Davies still. 15 metres out, it's set up for Wales again. Robert Jones takes it on. And Davies is there again. The Llanelli captain drives on. Up from Jones to Turner. The tackle in But once more Welsh possession. Robert Jones pivots to try and take it inside and cut through. And the crowd willing Wales home now. The crowd whistle to bring the finale, and maybe a last chance of possession here from their own line.
It's going to be one of those where they either score from their own line or they'll concede something here, I think, from England's point of view.
Rob Andrew knows he's got to do everything adventurous. Carling inside to Robinson. The tackling superb by Wales. And they still keep England in thrall. Andrew again, though. Carling, pass on the deck. And a penalty for Wales offside that time. All they can do is hope to find Oti. And they try to feed him now. Robinson, Oti. But Ian Evans was waiting. In goes Gary Rees. Up it comes from Andrew. The ball on the deck from Underwood. And Wales, no, that's it. It's all over, they've done it. England have failed at the final hurdle, and Wales have come back from the dead this season. Wales triumphant in adversity. 12 points to 9, they've done it again. Well, much as we thought it might be an incredibly hard game, Paul, congratulations, because it took some coming back from the dead, so to speak, putting the other matches behind you.
Yeah, it wasn't a classic by any means, but you know, we stuck at the task, and we had a lot to prove today, and I thought the boys played well.
Where do you sort of centred your attack? I mean, what were you going to play on?
Well, I mean, we were planning on spreading it wide before today, but obviously the weather put play to that. So obviously, you know, we kept on putting up and unders up. We thought there was a bit of a weakness there. So we kept on plugging away. A bit of a boring game, I suppose, for people to watch, but a bit of a classic in other ways.
Robert Jones so effective, wasn't he? Pinning England down throughout the second half, where Wales became dominant.
Yeah, obviously, you know, we were lucky to get out. I'm not sure how we scored, actually, in the beginning of the second half. But, you know, that really got the boys going. And from then on, all we did was keep them down in their half.
Now, there's the kick that created all the havoc in the end.
Yeah, obviously it's, you know, quite a high up and under, but he had plenty of time there. Took a nice catch, and perhaps John Webb wasn't really expecting the pass back. And to be fair to the Welsh players, they put the pressure on. Let's see if it is a try. Well, some will say it wasn't, but seeing what happened against Ireland, I'll take that one.
They scored the try at exactly the right time. I mean, it was a real blow to us, and we never really got back into the game. We just didn't get going today for whatever reason, and they played very well.
We went out to the game with several options in mind, whether to run or not, but obviously the weather dictated it, and I think we used it to our advantage, really, a little box kick, and we sort of kept the forwards going forward, and Ian Evans did well to put pressure on John Webb and Chris Otti, and it worked dividends in the end.
Obviously disappointed with the performance. Wales played very well, and they played exactly right in the conditions. Their forwards played particularly well. They got a very good platform of possession, particularly from the set scrums, and Robert Jones played the ball exactly right in the conditions. He just pegged us back and pegged us back. And I think at the end we made far too many mistakes. The ball was sliming about and squirting around, and we seemed to squirt it more often than Wales did, which gave them more put-ins at the scrum, and so again Robert controlled things and popped us back again. And we were never really able to establish a period of pressure to produce some scores.
Because it wasn't the best start for England either, was it, leaving Mike Teague in the very first play?
No, that was a blow. I mean, it was just one of those things. Obviously from the kick-off he got a heavy bang, and clearly could take no further part in the game. And it disrupted our line-out organisation completely, because Gary Rees went on and did a very good job, but he couldn't do the job that Mike Teague was there for. He didn't have the physical presence behind Wade Dooley in the line-out, and obviously it instantly wrecked a lot of the things that we'd planned for to try and make sure we did well in the line-outs and counteract Bob Norster. We really felt that this was the year we could come to Cardiff and win, and possibly have a share of the championship, possibly even win the championship, and in the end we got none of those things. But there's signs of progress, and we've got the chance of having much the same side next year.
A hard, uncompromising contest, and hardly five-star entertainment, but Ian Robertson, Wales won't worry about that too much, I think.
I don't think they will. I think they felt it was probably 10-star entertainment because they were able to wipe the slate clean after a pretty disastrous 10 months. And it was a very brave and, as you say, passionate performance by them. The key factors, the two key men, were Bob Norster, who was magnificent in the line-out, and Robert Jones, who was supreme at scrum half. It was a filthy, dirty day, and yet you see two-handed catches here from Norster that stood out like a shining beacon on a dull day, because he absolutely dominated the line-out in the crucial throws that he got up, soared up, two-handed catches and feed back to the scrum half that no one else in the whole match was able to equal at any time. And this gave them such a wonderful platform. It was an area that England had hoped to dominate. They'd done it in the other 3 matches, but this time they were outplayed. And I think they were unlucky, England. They've come up 4 matches on a dirty day with rain and wind, but they weren't able to compete with the Welsh there. And then, with that platform, that forward domination, Robert Jones tormented England by very simple tactics, but he just hoisted it up high, kept his pack rolling forward throughout that second half when they were hanging on to a lead of just 3 points. And there you see Ian Evans had some great tackles, not just on Webb following up. He had 2 priceless tackles on Chris Otey later on. But every time England worked their way back to the halfway line, Robert Jones hoisted the ball, the whole 15 red jerseys charged downfield, and they engulfed poor Jonathan Webb over and over again. His handling was pretty good. He was catching the ball, but he was catching 4 red jerseys at the same time.
There was tremendous confidence in the England camp. So where did they get it wrong?
I think they got it wrong up front, that the tremendous performance they'd had against France when they'd overwhelmed the French pack was expected to be the platform for this victory. But in fact, the Welsh tight 5 were every bit as good in the set scrums. They were solid scrums you saw there. And in the line-out, they had that much cleaner, better quality possession. And Robert Jones had a superb game and kept drilling England back. But England did have 1 golden chance in the second half when they were trailing 9-6, when they had it was an odd pass from the scrum half. Dowie Morris had to send this long, raking, floating pass out. Remember, it's a sodden pitch and a wet ball. But here, Will Carling had a quick pass now, and England actually had a 3-to-1 overlap and would almost certainly have scored with Underwood in the corner. Instead, Wales broke clear. England squandered the overlap, and they didn't get back in the Welsh half in the final 20 minutes of the game. That was, from that point, they never recovered.
Well, the only try of the game, of course, was scored by Wales, but in very controversial circumstances.
Yes, I think England will feel quite aggrieved if we watch this. It was one of those positions. The referee was actually tucked in behind, and he didn't get a very good view of it. But we had a situation where the ball's gone loose. The referee there's in midfield and could have gone in towards the post, but in fact tucked himself in behind the players. Arthur Emi there does push Halliday down without the ball. Mike Hall gets there. He touches the ball, but he doesn't actually ground it. It goes forward from that, and I think England would be able to argue whatever happened there, Hall didn't score and Halliday was impeded.
Jamie, how did you see that?
Well, they shouldn't have gone into that position, England. Rory made a very good catch to the ball, and Gary Reeves was in his way, going the ball to Jonathan Webb. And having gone forward there, Jonathan Webb should have gone down on the ball.
Well, here's another angle.
That's right. This is where he should have fallen on the ball there and cut out any possibility of them hacking on. So the only thing to do in these conditions is to hack the ball on. And as you can see, Halliday's pushed to the ground. Hall does not ground the ball, and it's no try. But
the ball probably goes forward there as Bryant was coming in. But, Jamie, that's not the first time that England have been caught out, because much the same happened in the Kolkata Cup.
Well, exactly the same. That their back 2 defence was struggling there, and they've given away 2 tries this season only in the Championship, which is a remarkable achievement. They'll be very disappointed in the manner in which they've been scored against.
And for Wales, the season really made now, Ian.
Well, yes, they'll be able to look back on the whole of the season from about the middle of March onwards, I think.
Well, despite it all, the Welsh are very deserving of that victory. Now to Paris, where France